Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Halftime with Bizzy. We are bringing a very cool episode to you guys today. If you guys haven't watched the Heavy God episode already, I highly recommend you go to the link in the description and check that one out. We have another member of the G2 squad today joining us. We have Peca from G2. He's going to be joining us. Talk a little bit about his beginnings and, what it's like being a manager, general manager for G2. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm Bizzy. I like to interview a lot of people in the scene, whether they create skins, if they're pro players, if they make maps, if they're content creators, casters, analysts, whatever. I like to, interview, and I like to get info out of people that we don't really know much of. So, sometimes we see face on screen, but we don't know the story. So that's where I step in. But we do episodes every single Friday at noon, 12 p.m. Eastern. That's pretty much it, man. If you guys enjoyed today's podcast, make sure you like the video. If you're watching on YouTube, comment down below. Let me know what you think. You guys have a good listen. I hope you guys enjoy. And we'll catch you on the outro.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Good.
Right, what's your name, mate? I never asked.
It's Chris.
Chris, nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to meet you
Pleasure
too,
being
man.
here.
Yeah, dude, it's an honor to have you. You know, we just had Heavy God on right before Christmas there. Love that guy. Loved him before, but after talking to him, man, love that guy.
He is great. I'm sad that I didn't have a chance to listen to the podcast, but he said it was really good. I asked him for his impressions before I hopped here.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, you got some praises from Mr. Heavy God himself.
Let's go. Love that. Let's talk about the most important question, why we're all even here, is how you came across Counter-Strike.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm born in 1991 in Serbia, former Yugoslavia. My dad, he was an electrical engineer, right? And he was always working something on PCs. So I had a PC ever since I know about myself, right? And back in the days, I think I was like really young, like 4 or 5 years old. I started playing some games on it. We played games like Doom, Jazz Jackrabbit, and so on. Like dinosaurs listening to this podcast probably remember those games. We had a really old PC, Pentium 386, and it couldn't run much, but it was an entrance to the gaming world for me. And then at some point, I had a really close friend in my neighborhood. He had an older brother who somehow brought us a CD of Counter-Strike. Back then, it was just like a mod for Half-Life,
Yes.
which we also played. And that's how basically we started. We started playing with bots at first. And yeah, then we found out about LAN cafes. And then we went there first for, I don't know, birthdays, just some weekends to chill with friends. And then at some point we also started skipping school. But kids don't do that. Um, so yeah, I fell in love in the game very early on. I spent a lot of time playing CS 1.5, then 1.6 later on. So yeah, that was my entrance in this beautiful world of CS. We're all living and breathing every day.
That's awesome, man. And I love how you were talking about Doom there for a minute. I am a huge Doom fan. Even
Oh,
the OG
really?
one, I love Doom, dude. I love it. And
That's
it's
cool.
like
That's cool.
people look at Doom as the pioneer to like FPS games, which I get it, but Wolfenstein came first, but I think Doom is just like it's just so next level. It's so sick.
I don't know. It made a mark in my early days. It was very scary for me as a kid. I
Yeah.
remember having some nightmares because of it. So I had my parents forced me to stop playing it, but it's a legendary game. I love it.
Yeah, and then when you look at like Doom 1 and 2 are pretty much the same, but then they made Doom 3 and it was like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And then, now we have like Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, Doom the Dark Ages. Like, how has this game gotten to this point? It's so crazy.
I never played the new iterations, to be honest. I
Oh,
think I only played the OG versions back in the day. So
dude.
yeah, I didn't. I'm not gaming these days as much. I spent some time with my daughter, and I'm trying to make her into a gamer. So we're playing some Nintendo Switch games when there is time. So yeah, unfortunately, didn't have a chance to try out the new iterations of Doom.
If you ever get a chance in some downtime, which I know you guys, everybody in the industry, especially being manager, doesn't have a lot of downtime. If you ever find downtime, Doom Eternal, you're gonna love it.
Eternal?
Doom
Okay,
Eternal.
okay, noted,
Yeah.
noted, noted. I'll definitely check it out if there's time.
But back to the whole the LAN cafe thing. I always like talking about LAN cafes and stuff like that. I'm 26. I don't know if we really had LAN cafes. Like I don't know if that was too popular here in North America. I know certain places they were, but I didn't get into PC gaming heavily till I was like 16 or something. So I'm pretty late. I was also I was a console kid growing up. So I like to hear about the LAN cafe stories from a lot of people that I talked to. I had Professor on from HLTV, and he was telling me a wild story about how there was like smoking going on in the venue, and there's like
Oh
children playing on
yeah,
the PCs. That's a normal thing.
yeah. That's a thing. Like, I mean, I grew up in a very poor country. Back then we were under sanctions. There was a war happening. We got bombed, and
Oh,
I think all of the people were looking for cheap fun, And at first, I don't really remember those days. I'm a bit younger than that, but I heard some stories from the older generations that there were a lot of arcades, and like people were playing arcades in those like social hubs maybe even because they were looking to having some fun with friends and playing games and so on. And then at some point it evolved when PCs became a thing, right? And not many people could own a PC at home due to basically poverty, right? More or less. And we are like we have a competitive culture by nature, so I guess it evolved to some extent when Dota became a thing, Counter Strike, StarCraft, those games, became popular. So yeah, I mean, I remember a lot of time spending time at LAN cafes back in the days, like my high school days, my end of my elementary school days. Um, there, there was a lot of time spent in LAN cafes, as you mentioned. Smoking prohibited everywhere. So once you come back from the LAN cafe, you smell like shit. But I
wow.
guess that was one part of the experience. I can probably still I still have that smell somewhere in top of my on top of my brain. But yeah, given the fact, the LAN cafes became a thing and that there was a lot of them in the city, at some point, people start organizing events, and that was really cool. I mentioned our competitive nature. We wanted to play against each other, and then it evolved to a point where every week we basically had 1 to 2 LANs in CS, and I'm speaking only about CS, not even
Wow.
mentioning other games. So yeah, we had a really nice PC center hub in the city center, close to the underground train station in Belgrade. It had, I don't know, I'm gonna lie to you now, but I would say more than 300 PCs combined in multiple PC cafes. And at times it was impossible to make a reservation because everyone was playing.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, and like some of them had private rooms where you could which you could rent, and go there with your team to scrim or to play versus other teams. So yeah, that was fun. That was like the way we kind of naturally evolved esports, which probably wasn't called esports back then, into something that we are looking nowadays. um, a lot of foreign teams were also coming to Belgrade for those lands, so we had really good relationship and friendships with people from nearby countries, Romanians, Bulgarians, Hungarians at the time, and we had a few teams from Serbia that were um, kind of successful, semi-successful in the international scene, or they at least stepped into the international scenes. Names like BGD Online, iNation, and like I don't know. Before that, we had For Glory, KGB, stuff like that. So yeah, fun times. Uh, Grassroots energy, I would say.
Dude, it's so awesome. Like I look at clips sometime of just like just the LAN experience, people screaming and people standing up and like going over their monitor, like, getting in people's faces. And I don't know, man. Like that whole energy is just awesome.
Yeah, like we LANs were face to face all the time. So basically, you could see when you throw a flash and the guy across to you, his monitor is white, so you could see it in his face. And the screaming part, that was something, that was the most precious thing of those good old days that I remember. So yeah, fun times indeed.
For sure. And I noticed on your player experience on Liquipedia, you only had one match with eFrag Great Gaming. I know sometimes Liquipedia is not really like accurate or it doesn't have all the information, but did you have any other kind of experience as a player, like on teams and
I
stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, I tried playing seriously in 1.6. The scene was big locally, but like small international. It was really hard to get into the international waters back then. Um, I played from 2006 to 2009. It was ages ago. And my last event was the qualifier for national qualifier for WCG. I remember in 2009. Um, but at some point, I realized I'm never gonna be that good. I'm never gonna reach the highs of international players and the players that we have been looking on demos on HLTV back then. So I stopped playing internationally, and I wanted to shift my focus into helping to grow the scene. Me and my friend from the team where I played in, we had an idea of, um, by looking at what people are doing outside of Serbia, we wanted to bring those ideas into Serbia, and then we started organizing some events. We had a website that was following all of the events happening in the region. We tried to do some interviews with uh, semi-pros from our countries and from the region. So we did a lot of coverage of those. And yeah, we wanted to create some structure for Balkans, and eventually mm, we created that hub called eFrag at some point, which went good. At some point in 2013, we organized the first big international event called ESEC. I don't know if you're familiar about it. It was a long time ago. It was basically a predecessor of the Nations Cup that is currently a thing, right? Like everyone is talking about what TWC is cooking with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to create a tournament where nations are fighting against each other. Um,
Okay.
and there's an interesting story about it, since like it was just a shower thought at one point, and then we were discussing it, and we wanted to create a website. Uh, and we created a website with forms where people can register, but we didn't publish it. We were waiting for the right moment, but somehow it got leaked and people started registering randomly, and we were like, okay, what to do now? Now we actually need to execute it. And the application started flooding in, and we had some really big names back then, like Taz was playing, Nia was playing, Exist, Apex, Pimp, Alu,
Okay.
So yeah, that's one part of the story of my history, I would say.
That's awesome. And then eventually you shifted into coaching. Was there a certain figure that inspired you for that? Or did you just, maybe because you stopped playing, maybe you thought you had more of the brain for Counter Strike instead of the mechanical skills?
But to be honest, I was always following CS. I was always looking into what is happening in the scene. But once I left that first company in 2014, I actually moved to Lithuania to work for a TV company that is
Oh,
fully focused on gaming and esports,
like a
while
broadcast company?
still, yeah, like a linear TV broadcast company. Yeah,
Damn.
and that was, I believe, one of the first, if not the first, esports focused linear TV broadcast.
Wow.
So Mm, yeah, joined there. I learned some production. I learned media. I learned how things work with sponsorships and whatnot. and which I later even brought to brought the knowledge to Serbia back with founding Relog Media, which is operating to this day. But to get back to the point in your question regarding coaching, Liquipedia is, as you said, at times misleading.
Mm-hmm.
I never started as a coach. I always started as a manager, and
Okay.
basically my story goes like this. When I came back from Lithuania back to Serbia, I got a call from my old friend Kasad, who was at back then babysitting the best Serbian team called iNation, and Kasad got an offer. I never spoke about it, by the way. Um, Kasad got an offer from an international team to coach, and he needed someone to help the team grow because they had a lot of potential back then. And knowing that I'm one of the rare people from our region that has some international experience and contacts and decent network, he asked me to step in, which I jumped on instantly, based on my love towards CS, and based on the fact that I never stopped watching it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I mean, our goal was to find some stability, to find an organization to represent, because it was just like a bunch of players just playing video games, nothing overly professional. And it went good. Just a few months after me taking over, we managed to find an organization to represent. It was called Binary Dragons, and
Yeah.
those were one of the first steps of me as a manager, that allowed the players to go full time. And when it comes to coaching, um, like I was always there. I was always at the team speak with the players. I always tried to help where I could, whether that is logistically or sometimes even tactically. And at some point, we didn't have a coach, but we needed a coach, so that's how I stepped in, kinda. And
Okay.
that's where I got my Liquipedia page, I guess.
Okay, because yeah, I saw about you were coaching with iNation at the Balkan Pro League 2016, and then as well for Binary Dragons and Valiance, I think is how you pronounce it. And
Yeah.
then you ended up finding yourself as being a manager for teams like Crazy and FPX, if that's correct too.
Well, that is correct. So, Binary Dragons, we played for them for like 3-4 months. Things didn't go very well, in terms of the support from the organization. So we were looking for a new home. We got signed by Valiance back then, a Croatian organization, which later rebranded it into Crazy,
Okay.
with which we had pretty decent run, I would say, and probably the biggest achievement for our region, kinda, was when we first qualified to the Berlin Major back in 2019, and then also did some damage towards some big teams. And also, I believe we were the first team to kick out Fnatic from the major back then. So it was kind of a big thing for us.
Damn. All right.
Um, yeah, but like even before that, I always aspired into helping people, and like I always wanted to get into the team management somehow. So the first event I coached or managed or did both was like one of the first CS:GO events, um, Prague Gaming Challenge in 2013.
Okay.
The one that was won by the most random mix ever, with Neo, Kenny S, Taz, Apex, and then Overdrive.
Damn.
So yeah,
That's awesome, man. And then, fast forward to 2022, you find yourself on G2, which is like a massive step, obviously. Um, how did you find yourself getting to that point in time, where you're on G2 now and like this is like a big thing?
yeah, it seems like it was forever ago, but like in late, I would say 2020, 21, or 21, 22, I'm not entirely sure, but like yeah, late 2020, 21. I was expecting my first child, and with my wife, and then the pandemic was a thing, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
the whole world was in chaos. Um, I stopped working at FPX, and I was still in parallel working in an operational role at Relog Media. And just before my child got born, I decided to step down and to try to fully focus on the family and to first learn how to be a father and basically fully focus on house, family, like everything like that. So I spent a few months being jobless, but I'm being a workaholic. I always miss working, and
Yeah.
I started looking for a job, and then all of a sudden I get a message from G2 saying that they are in need for first Valorant manager, which I had some experience with working at FPX, where I operated both CS and Valorant. But that deal fell through, so I kept searching, and then I believe 1 month after that, I got another call from G2 asking me to become their esports manager, to
Damn.
be in charge in with four different divisions back then. So Valorant, their female Valorant team goes and Rainbow Six, and I even onboarded the female League of Legends team.
Wow.
So for me, that was a dream job. Since I'm a big CS fan, I followed G2 very closely, and obviously, like I knew some of the names in from the CS team. I used to work with Nexa and Hunter, and I knew Nico for ages from events and so on. So yeah, I jumped on that role. It went good on my end. Uh, Gozen Valorant female team was very dominant at that time. We won VCT Game Changers. Then with Rainbow Six roster, we started really bad, but that somehow we had an insane run, which eventually brought to us winning the trophy of the sixth invitational. And yeah, at that time CS had their ups and downs. I'm pretty sure you remember that period.
Yeah.
And I got an opportunity, given my love towards CS and given the progress that I have made in the former role, to step in as the new general manager when Jerome Niak stepped down. So yeah, I took over the CS project. Uh, what was it, like 3 years ago, something like that, 3.5. And since then, we won 6 S tier trophies, which I'm really proud
For
of.
sure.
But still, never complacent, always looking for more.
Absolutely. And I got to be honest, I'm tunnel vision Counter Strike. I don't know anything about Dota 2. I don't know anything about League of Legends or Valorant
That's
really.
cool.
I'm strictly Counter Strike, so I don't mean to disregard anything else that you were a part of. I didn't even know you were a part of all of that other stuff. I thought you were just the CS guy, to be quite honest. But with you getting Counter Strike thrown on your lap too, were you now in charge of 5 projects?
No, no, no. Like
It was
I,
just
I I
Counter Strike at
stepped
that
down.
point.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
solely Counter Strike. You know how CS is. It's still a wild west, and it requires your focus to be fully on
Yeah.
CS. So it wouldn't be possible to oversee all of those divisions,
Yeah.
including CS.
I mean, just to manage 4 different teams for a couple different games, like I don't even know how you like what. How do you even juggle that? That sounds crazy to
I
me.
mean, you oversee other managers and you try to help them with your experience. So it's not really being full-time manager for all of those divisions. It's more like a support role, an operational role that helps with logistics and so on.
Okay.
You don't
Okay.
travel to events.
Okay. I was gonna say because you probably never even sleep. You're just awake 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I sometimes still feel like that even nowadays, just focusing on one title. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing I find super interesting about, this is the first time I've had a manager of, yeah, I've had the owner of the Copenhagen Wolves on, I've had a couple pro players on, but I've never actually had like a general manager. So this is a pretty cool experience. But like, I know there's certain things you can and can't talk about, but whatever you can share about, a day to day experience of being a general manager, like what does that like kind of entail?
Well, it's a long story because basically, uh, you do everything in order to support your players. At like in esports organizations, you have two types of roles. One role is reserved for the players, and they're there to lift the trophies, and then you have everyone else who is there to support the players lift the trophies. So in a nutshell, you are there to enable the players to be able to focus solely on what they do the best, which is shooting heads. Um, to broad it up, it can be everything from logistics, finance, contracts, payrolls, doing invoices, bonuses, calculating every
Sponsorships.
month, sponsorships, and then it's also travel logistics, thinking about visas, thinking about Schengen days, boot camps, media days, sponsor obligations, and then besides
Jeez.
that, obviously at the beginning of each year, you need to do a yearly planning. You need to look at the big picture. What events are you gonna play? What events are you gonna skip? Then take the VRS system into consideration. What's gonna be good for us? What's gonna be bad for us? And then if the plan fails, obviously, you need to rethink. You need to reshape. Then obviously, like, you talk with agents. You always need to think 3 steps ahead. What will happen? Who is a hot promising player? Did you get some information that someone's contract is ending? So you plan about the roster and so on. And at times you also like travel with the team and order food for them, and like, so basically everything you can do in order to support the team, but also to support the organization and help to connect the players with the rest of the organization, like all the other departments, including marketing, sponsorships, um, apparel or merchandise, and so on. So, like, besides all that, is like you need to set a system because you are in charge and you're responsible for everything happening within your division, your team. And we are not a small organization, so it's a big bite, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you need to employ people, you need to help them set the culture and values and whatnot. So
Wow.
right now I'm running 2 teams. I'm running the main CS team, and I'm also running the CS Academy team, Ares, which I'm project that I'm really proud of, up and coming, hopefully. But like, to be honest, I could have never been able to do everything by myself because it's impossible to handle everything.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to have really, really strong backroom staff. I have a team manager that travels more often than me to the events. I have a team psychologist that is there to make sure players' mentals are where they need to be, and also like the coaching staff with our assistant coaches and the big brain of
Yeah.
our head coach. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's a really nice work where you enjoy what you do because you're surrounded by people, by like-minded people that uh, enjoy watching CS, doing CS, and breathing CS every day. So
It's amazing, man, and like it really just puts it into perspective because I've been watching within the past few years. I've been a lot more like paying a lot more attention to esports and stuff. But when I got into Counter Strike in 2016, or 2015 or whatever it was, I was like in love with esports, and then I kind of my interest would shift to other places and stuff. But I would always find myself going back and watching majors and stuff like that. And I never knew up until like I want to say it was maybe 2020 or 2021 that there was like mental coaches and
oh
all of these
yeah.
others, and I was like, wow. Like I think it's really amazing, especially like the bigger organizations like G2 and all the other tier 1 teams. Like the things that they provide for the players is like it's mind-blowing. I'll never forget when I first learned about it.
I mean, we look into traditional sports, right? And we want to take some learnings out of it and possibly connect the dots where it is possible. So esports is evolving rapidly, and the gap between the traditional sports and esports is very tiny at the moment. So yeah, players are more professional, staff is more professional, and therefore we are looking for more well-educated people in order to support and in order to help the players evolve. You get 1% there, 2% there, and then all of a sudden you're better than your opponents just because of the dots that you're connecting.
Yeah, and like you guys were just at Red Bull Gaming's headquarters doing like some workouts and stuff. Like it's crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah, like we started this season in Salzburg. Unfortunately, I was not able to be there. I caught some really bad flu. Therefore, we delayed this talk, and I'm sorry about it.
Hey, no
But the boys
worries.
went to, yeah, but the boys went to Salzburg to meet up with the Red Bull professionals. They're working with all of the traditional professional athletes, including Formula One, and like football, soccer, or like basketball players, and they went through some medical checkups and some exercises to help them understand how strong they are on all the different aspects. And also, they had some meetings with the nutritionists to let them know how they should eat before the game, after the game, when they should fall asleep, etc., etc. So yeah, we are trying to lift it to another level.
Yeah,
So yeah, we can get some percentages here and there and be even better, both as humans as professional esport athletes.
for sure. And Red Bull, like I'm huge into skateboarding. I used to do it all the time. I own a skateboard company. I
That's
would
cool.
travel and it was awesome. But one thing I've learned from Red Bull, especially now with like, esports and everything, Red Bull in general with their athletes of any kind, period, they're super supportive and like they're really hands on with like trying to bring out the success and just be there for support and help in any way they can. Like Red Bull seems like a really good team, really really good team.
Definitely. I'm really happy to have an opportunity even to, discuss these matters with them and to be supported by such a big organization. Also, them being focused on wellness and good being of all of those people and professional athletes means something, right? And they help all of those people to be better. So yeah, I'm really proud to have a chance to work closely with them.
For sure. And the thing that I love to hear about as well is like traveling. I mean, there's so much traveling that happens for esports athletes for the entire year, pretty much. I'm pretty sure even like Maui Snake, he was just talking about before 2025 ended. I think he said he spent like 250 days or
Yeah.
something absurd, 250 days or something like that away from home. And you have to adapt to time changes. I'm sure your diet's probably messed up. You're with your teammates and stuff like that. I'm talking apart from desk analysts and stuff like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and as much as you may like people, sometimes when you're around each other a little too much, it's just like I need my own space. But like you were saying earlier, you go out for like dinners and you go out and do things to kind of mesh like almost like a family. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
anything ever get thrown off where you have to like re-glue the team back together, or is it like how's the teammates like behind closed doors, because they seem like they're pretty cool with each other.
Like, first of all, as I said, esports is evolving, and like with esports, I think CS is the most crazy in terms of scheduling and competitive calendar. And yeah, it definitely requires you to be on the road for more than 200 days per year, being a professional player. Um, you always do have, some situations where people don't agree with each other, but we
Yeah,
never had it to some extent when you needed to step in and just try to stop the fight or something like that. No drama behind the closed doors, I would say.
yeah,
um, we we travel together. We share a lot of experiences while traveling together, and that creates some special bonds, because you are going through both good and bad. You lift the trophies together, but then also you go through, I don't know, flight delays or bad experiences with tournament organizers, or someone broke up with their girlfriend, and you need to comfort them. That's much more often than anything negative you mentioned. So yeah, I mean, it does look like some sort of a family bond, as you said it.
Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes, and it goes in any type of media, if it's esports or if it's, some type of live, just sports in general, I guess, you can look at something and be like, something's going on with these people. They're not getting along. They're just playing the game together. But I don't get that vibe
Hmm.
with G2 at all. I think like I don't know. I just love seeing all of them, hanging out with each other, doing interviews together, doing like the little skits and stuff like that. I love it. I think they look
I'm
really good together.
I mean, that's also a part of the culture that we wanted to set, and the values that we all have set together as a team. And we are trying really hard to follow with some things that we set as like we have uh, four core values that we always try to reflect on it, and we keep following up on it. So those four are trust, honesty, hard work, and good atmosphere. So as long as those four are being followed, as long as we are transparent in the group and try to resolve all of the issues um, every day, more or less, when there is time for it and when there is space for it, then when we trust each other. When we work hard all together and keep each other accountable and push each other every day, then you also somehow naturally gain that good atmosphere, which we cherish.
And like I was saying earlier, we had Heavy God on the podcast toward the end of last year, and we talked a bit about Budapest and the preparation. Obviously, the result was unfortunate, but it always makes me wonder for a situation like that. Losing a major is not an easy thing. I'm sure, especially from like an organization standpoint. It's probably a tough like mental battle. So I want to know a little bit again, whatever you can say, and you don't have
Hmm.
to name drop anybody specifically, of course. But what's like the mental on the team after getting you know after losing the major essentially.
Hmm. I know what you wanted to say, but like a major is the most important event of the year, right? And like everyone is aware of it. Like it's important for the organization. It's important for the players. Players get their stickers embedded into their game, into the game they love forever. On the other side, the organization gets some percentage of the revenue of the team stickers that are being sold. Then you have sponsors very interested into sponsoring your team if you are on the major, given the fact that all the hype is about the major.
It's
Fans,
huge.
then again, yeah, fans are following it. It's usually the most followed event of the year. So mm, season is built for the majors, but the fact that we have such a packed competitive calendar, it's usually kind of hard to prepare for it directly. So you need to
Yeah.
prepare for it from January until the moment you actually qualify and go on the major.
Oh
Now,
wow.
speaking about like you do have boot camps before the major, but you don't really want to create some extra pressure and tension straight before the major because players are already pressured by themselves, by pundits, by I don't know the community and everything about it. So the only thing you need to do is to teach them how to accept uncertainty and to be ready for whatever is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about Budapest, we did have much higher expectations. Our main focus was at least to get to the playoffs.
Mhm.
And we started good, right? Like we were leading 2-0 and then we needed one more win in order to get there. However, in the reality, we really didn't show up versus on the games versus Furia and Mongols. And for me, that's the most depressing part because uh, we knew what we had to do. We just didn't show up. Maybe even, to some extent, the hunger was not there before those games. Now, that hurt the most. But
Yeah.
like after those two games, we really had a honest team talk. Everyone chimed in, and everyone was basically speaking about what went wrong in their opinion, in their eyes, and like no pointing fingers, just saying out loud how can we improve for the most important game, which was
Just
versus
talking as a
Falcons.
group.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and like ultimately we did show up versus Falcons,
This is
and
a
it
really
was a
good
very
watch.
competitive game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, Monesi was insane,
Dude.
and unfortunately, we couldn't close it out. Now, after dropping out from each every major, it's obviously very hard position to be at. But thankfully, we have a team of professionals, and yeah, everyone was as professional as they could be. And how we closed it out, as always, like every time we drop out, we want to spend some time together. So we did that in the hotel lobby because the bar was already closed. So yeah, we were discussing about the next season, and that's what you usually do after dropping out from each event. Given the packed schedule, you don't really have time to mourn or to think about, okay, I should have done this or should have done that. You instantly to switch to what's coming next and to try to improve on the mistakes you were doing on this event so you can perform better on the next major.
For
So
sure.
yeah, a lot of talks, but no hard feelings at the end of the day.
That's good.
We failed, and we're gonna do better next time. That's it. That's what sports is all about. We didn't make any changes in the roster. I see there was a lot of comments about it, but
Yeah,
people tend to forget that we are only 6 months young, and yeah, like all the team do need some time in order to get stability. So yeah, let's see how this season starts, and let's see how it's gonna look like.
for sure. And it's really cool to hear that like the team's ready to, the past is the past. Okay, we didn't win the major. It sucks, but it is what it is. How are we going to move forward and what are we going to do in the future? I think that's like a really professional and a really hard like mental battle, I guess, especially for one person, let alone a whole team. You know what I mean? So I think that's really cool that immediately it sounded like everybody was ready to focus on 2026 and
It doesn't come immediately. I'm not gonna lie. Like
oh, okay.
first, your first thought is, ah, fuck this, not again. We're dropping out. You probably can see some tears left and right, but like we played a really good game versus Falcons,
No,
and
for sure.
that is what stood in our heads after losing that game. We know what we did wrong in the previous games, and this one was just like a coin flip in the end of the day. It's sports, and you know how they say in football, like ball is round. So one day you can win, one day you can lose. I'm just proud that we showed a good game. We tried our best, and we yeah, we didn't qualify for the playoffs, but we'll try again, and next time is gonna be better.
For sure. And I hate to single out one person, but Heavy God, man. I'm so biased, but like holy shit, like watching him, it just kind of made me think about the whole season or the whole year really. How the hell didn't he get top 20 at HLTV? Like what? 21? Like I
Yeah,
think that guy was so deserving, man. He was so deserving.
I agree, and like Nick is a really good individual, and he implemented very easily in the team. Um, yeah, I mean it's very unfortunate that we didn't see him this year on the HLTV awards. Hopefully this year,
Yeah,
So let's see.
I
It it
think
also it also depends on the team results. So I'm hoping for more playoffs this year. So
for
yeah,
sure.
not only for Heavy God, but also for the other players that could redeem themselves and do better and possibly get to that top 20 everyone wants to be in.
Absolutely. And the roster thing, like we all know how the Counter Strike community is. If you're watching, Twitch chat is something that it just pisses me off. I mean, like some of the people I just can't even believe are actually human. There'll be, let's say, team spirit. Like I was just talking to, I forget. I think I was just talking to Hext about this from
Hmm.
M80. Well, he used to be on M80, but you know, let's say for argument's sake, Spirit's having a great game. They win. It's like, let's go Spirit. Let's go Donk. Spirit's awesome. They'll go and lose the next game and get eliminated from not even a major, but just like a whatever, just another tournament. It's like, oh my god, Donk's washed, Spirit's so ass, Chopper's cooked. Like people just they're so quick to just start, you know, just saying what's on their mind and shitting on people. And I know you've been involved with death threats, which I think is like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fucking video game. So to actually be wishing death threats on people, I think is fucking absolutely absurd. And I know there was controversy with the roster in the past and what happened, and you don't have to speak on it if you don't want. But at the end of the day, whether you're a fan or a part of management or something, not everything can be perfect. And it sounds like there's a lot of, things that can't be talked about, of course. But I think with the roster that you guys have now, it sucks without, Nico and Mondesi, of course. But I think with time, like, we'll see, Heavy God and Hunter and everybody, we'll see everybody mesh together. And, I don't know. You guys don't look weak. It's just, you guys like Mondesi, especially in that Falcons game. I mean, he's just he's an animal. He's a beast,
I
But
mean, yeah, I cannot disagree with you. Like both Nico and Monesi, they're
phenomenal
great players, phenomenal. Like one of the best, if not the best. So yeah, I mean, I understand the fans' perspective as well. I also understand the fact that I am the like the face, kinda being a general manager to be shouted at. But like everyone needs to be aware that we talk about big decisions as a team, and like we always make those big decisions as a management team. So yeah, speaking of changes and speaking of the new G2CS, uh, as I said, 6 months old roster. We have a completely different approach. No stars, but constellations. That's what we are aiming for. And yeah, we have a completely new system, new coach that has completely different approach from any other coach that we have been working with in the past. We have new IGL in Hunter, who needs to gain more experience, and he's getting it through every screen we play, through every event we go on, through every match, and so on. So um, we trust this team for now, and let's see how it goes.
for sure.
Expectations are always high, coming from the fans and coming from us, coming from the management, coming from G2 as an organization. But we also need to be real with each other and to go step by step. We won one event last year, which we didn't expect to happen this fast, but something clicked.
Yep.
So we did, I guess we proved to ourselves and to everyone else what our ceiling is. Now we need to work on improving our floor. So that's the plan for this season.
If you do it once, you can do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but like, I'm a Phase fan too, and I understand the frustration with roster changes and stuff like that. I mean, the stuff they were doing last year, I was fucking pissed. But I think it's like really important to talk about like actually wishing death upon people for, you know what I mean? You're not always going to be happy once you're so invested and love a team, and you see people that you love get removed from the team and go somewhere else, like Rain. That sucks. Seeing phase Rain is no more. But it's like at the end of the day, stuff isn't going to make sense to me, the viewer and the fan, or other people as well. And they can't throw all of the information out to us because there has to be
Exactly.
internal stuff, right? Like it is what it is, man. It's a part of the game. It's with any sport. There's gonna be people that you like that, whether it makes sense or not, they leave. But if you're a fan, you're gonna stick with the team and you're gonna hope that they do good, and you're gonna be there watching their games and supporting them. And I think that's the important part.
Yeah. I agree with you, but the difference between traditional sports and esports is that people are still more leaning towards being fans of individual players compared to being fans of the orgs or the teams, right? I think we are slowly moving towards there, and I'm thankful that G2 as an organization has probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, fan base in the world. Um, some fans left obviously because of the changes, but
It
I'm
happens.
happy I'm happy for the people that are still supporting us. When it comes to death threats, it was scary at the first moment, but then at some point you realize, like, that's probably just some random kid, typing on his mother's laptop or something like that. So you learn to live with it. I'm pretty sure there's much worse things happening in more popular mainstream sports like
Yeah.
football, basketball, and so on. And I recently got a really good advice from a former national team coach of basketball of Serbia, Svetislav Karipešić. I randomly met him in the hotel when we were on Fisher event in
Oh
Belgrade.
shit.
He was in the same hotel as us, and it was just like everyone was talking about our national basketball performance and how we are so bad and how the expectations were much higher than what we achieved. And it was a good moment for me to ask him, how do you deal with that? How do you
Yeah.
deal with that pressure? And I just said hi, I asked him that, and he told me one sentence that I'm trying to implement, which is he said uh, don't, something along the lines of uh, just don't listen to people's opinion that you don't care about. And I think that's great if you can do it. So I'm trying to do it nowadays.
For sure. I love to hear that, man. That's awesome. I love hearing like little funny background stories of like traveling and stuff like that. Is there any like fun stories or interesting stories about traveling with the team that you'd be able to share for fans that might be interested to hear something?
Yeah, of course. Like um, there's one that happened recently, actually in Budapest. So before the games, we tend to either have um, a walk around the hotel in the morning or just play some football to wake up the players, warm up a bit, enjoy the weather if it's nice. So one day in Budapest we went out for our standard routine. We played some football. We play a game of kind of like horse in basketball, but like with football, and the point is not to let the ball to fall down on the ground.
Okay.
And we were playing, we were really into it, everything was funny and cool. We had it was raining before that, and our performance coach fell on the ground. We were all laughing about it, and then one of the boys hit the ball hit a kid in nearby. Everything was cool, everything was fine, kid was okay. We were all laughing about it, and then we were discussing how it's really nice to laugh before the games. It's good experience, and then we realized we have someone missing, and like Matusz was not with us, and like it was 20 minutes into the game, and no one has realized he's not there, not
Oh
even me,
my
not even the
god.
rest of the staff. And what happened? He was texting us. Obviously, we didn't have the phone, and he was just across the street, and he couldn't find us. And yeah, like it was insanely fun for us. Like the whole experience, including Luca falling down, one of the players hitting the ball, it hit the kid. So yeah, it was a fun day. But to close it out with Matusz missing, it was fun.
He was just looking for you guys the whole time. He was just across the street.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god. That's funny. So, 2026, you kind of talked about it briefly. You guys want to get more playoff runs and stuff like that. Is there any other goals that you think that the fans of G2 should know that you guys have for 2026?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that the fans of G2 are aware of how we approach things, and we tend to approach things one event at a time. So far we have four events that are basically confirmed for us, and the first one is Krakow. Then we have Cluj-Napoca, right?
Yep.
Then it's Rio, and after that it's EPL. Those are the four confirmed events that we have. So first things first is Krakow. Right now, we are in Berlin at G2's facilities after going through the Red Bull APC center that we discussed briefly before. So right now, we focus on team development. Right now, we grind in order to be able to perform in Krakow. Yes, we aim for more playoffs this year, but also trophies if the growth allows us to do so. But as I said, one game at a time, event by event. We play our first game versus Passion UA in Krakow, and that's gonna be the first game of this season. We still don't know how good we are. We know how good we are on scrims, or what are the areas that we are trying to improve on. But it's usually very different when you hop on a stage and play a game. So only after the first event we're gonna be able to actually identify where we stand, and let's see how it goes. Yes, we want more playoffs. Yes, we want more trophies. But as I said, one step at a time.
All right, beautiful. Well, that was my last question for you for the outro of the podcast. I like to shine the spotlight over to the guest. If there's people you want to shout out, if there's a message you want to give out to the fans, if there's anything at all you want to say to close the episode out, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me here and for a great podcast we had. And secondly, I would like to thank to all of the fans that are supporting us throughout good and bad. We will make sure to continue our journey and eventually shine brighter than what we did in the past. Um, Thanks a lot to all of the fans. And also, secondly, I want to thank to all of the players and staff around me that are supporting and pushing each other every day to the max. So yeah.
Perfect. And I hope we get to see you in Blast Rivals in May in Texas. I think you guys are confirmed going to that.
Not yet, but we will
Oof.
see. It's based on the VRS rating. Currently, we are not standing that great, but hopefully things will change really soon. So I will also be looking forward to coming to DNA
Well,
this year.
if you guys are going there, I'll see you there. We got to link up, and I'd love to meet Heavy
That's
God
great.
and the boys, man. I'd love to.
Hit us up. We'll be happy to grab some food with you and yeah, to talk a bit.
Alrighty, guys, that wraps things up for today. Shout out to Peca. Shout out to G2 once again. A few people I've talked to on G2 so far have been very forward and, show a lot of interest in wanting to do this. So to get the support of members of such a big organization, I mean, it hits a certain spot. So I cannot thank them enough. Heavy God and Peca so far. I think interviewing pro players are pretty fun. So you guys seem to like the Heavy God episode. We just had Hexed on a few weeks ago. You guys loved that. So let me know who you want to see on in the future, and don't forget to like the video, comment what you thought of it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on those notification bells. We are quickly approaching 600. I didn't think that would be possible in such a quick fashion. I feel like it was just not long ago we hit 500, but I can't thank you guys enough, man. And we're gonna tap out. You guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, and we will catch you next Friday. Till next time, everybody.